G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Bitcoin video. Today we have three updates, three important topics to talk about, one of which being the interest rates decision, right? Interest rates in general and how they affect the Bitcoin bottom, and using that as an argument for the bear case and why I don't think that's a valid argument to make. The second of which is the monthly candle close, which is closing in 48 hours, which is a very important monthly candle close, but because of the levels, it's getting close to closing over. And the third of which is a short-term update. We'll go through that in that specific chronological order. So let's get straight into the video without further ado. Now, I want to start by talking about interest rates and its relation to the Bitcoin bottom. We know for a fact, we don't know for a fact, obviously, but based on the market's expectations, okay, and this is the most accurate predictive method we can use to predict interest rates. We're expecting to see 75 more basis points of hikes. We're expecting 3 more hikes, okay? And we're expecting rates to top out on June 14th. Now, I want to quickly say to someone who's not aware of this, to anyone who says, oh, no, we're going to see 4 more hikes. We're only going to see 2. The fact of the matter is this, you can't be more accurate than what the market expects. This is the market's expectation. So if you think you're smarter than the entire market, go ahead and try predict it. The fact of the matter is, this is the ultimate predictive method, and this is why I don't try and predict on this channel inflation rates or interest rates, because it's not up to me what the inflation rate's going to be. My mathematics, my formulas aren't going to be as strong as what the market's expectations is, which is, based off many formulas and many different people. In fact, every single person speculating. So the market is expecting 3 more rate hikes to a 75 basis point degree, and we're expecting rates to top out at around, well, if there was 3 more, it'd be around what? 5.5, right? 550 basis points. And so the reason why this is relevant is for this reason. A lot of people are claiming that the market won't top out until we see the peak of rates, right? And they're making that claim for a reason that is semi-valid, okay? If we look at what happened in the last cycle, this orange line that we have on the screen here is interest rates. What happened when we reached our interest rate top? We reached the interest rate top, and on the same week we reached the top on interest rates, a week before, I should say, we reached the top on interest rates, we saw the Bitcoin bottom in the 2018 bear market, okay? Then, following that, when we saw just before interest rates started to decrease, and on the week of which they started to decrease, we saw the local top on the upwards rally. This was a rally from the bottom to a local top of around 365%, 360%-ish. We saw the top of that rally, okay, just when interest rates decreased for the first time after they flatlined, and we saw the bear market bottom just when they topped. Now, on top of this, when we saw rates get cut dramatically during COVID, and when we saw rates bottom out, that is the same time we saw the bottom during the COVID drop. So 3 separate occurrences, okay? We saw rates top, the market bottomed. We saw rates start to go down again, the market topped, and we saw rates bottom, the market bottomed. Okay, so that's very interesting. Okay, and people are saying now, and rightfully so, the bearish case is making the case that, hey, well, Bitcoin couldn't have topped yet because interest rates haven't topped. And in the last cycle, Bitcoin only topped out when interest rates topped out. Now, here's my response to that. If interest rates were to lead to the Bitcoin bottom, okay, as per the expectations from the market, we would be seeing the Bitcoin bottom on around the 14th of June. So that would be a bottom around, on the chart, I'm going to draw it right now, around here. That's where we would bottom out, okay? And a lot of people would say, well, if we bottomed out around that period of time, we would see a bottom at around 13.8K, possibly lower. Now, there's 2 problems with this, and you can probably predict the first one based on my previous opinions on Bitcoin. It's not very hard to look into it. Problem number 1 is the 4-year cycle, obviously. Now, if we bottom out in June 2023, which is when the interest rates would predict we bottom out as per the last cycle, we would hence be bottoming out outside of the parameters of the 4-year cycle theory. The 4-year cycle theory predicted a bottom in Q4 2022. That is the bottom of which we've seen right now. And so obviously bottoming out in June would negate all of the evidence we have surrounding the 4-year cycle theory, which is not a small amount of evidence. It is 5 micro trends within one larger broad trend, which is driven by a fundamental event being the halving, and also further driven by the presidential cycle theory. So the fact of the matter is this: if we were to bottom out in June, per this interest rate thing, we would basically, per interest rates topping, I should say, we would basically negate the entire 4-year cycle theory. So it seems the balance of arguments is unlikely to begin with. Now, on top of this, we have to remember, guys, that this is only one time, okay? This interest rate, trend with Bitcoin topping out when interest rates Bitcoin bottoming out when interest rates top out, it's only happened once. It's happened in 2018. That's it. We haven't seen it any other time, and we haven't actually seen any inclination of it happening again. For example, every time interest rates made a move, right? Back here in 2018, 2020, we saw something happen. We saw interest rates top, we saw Bitcoin bottom. Interest rates start going down, we saw Bitcoin top. We saw interest rates bottom and Bitcoin bottom. Now, we've seen the same thing. We saw interest rates start to go up here in February. There was no reaction from the market. Bitcoin did nothing. Bitcoin had no topping out, no bottoming out. And if we were to believe that interest rates had such a dramatic effect on Bitcoin, we would have expected to have seen something happen in February 2022 when interest rates made a move for the first time in over 2 years. So we didn't see that. So we have actually evidence to believe, based on the fact that interest rates went up for the first time, nothing happened to Bitcoin noticeably. We do have evidence to believe that, hey, maybe this trend where, it's not even a trend, maybe this occurrence where interest rates topping out leads to Bitcoin bottoming out and vice versa is gone. Maybe it doesn't exist anymore, or maybe it never really existed and was just a coincidence potentially. Who knows, right? Right now, we can't really point to something that's only happened once in the entire price history of Bitcoin and say, okay, that's going to happen again. The fact of the matter is this is a completely different market environment to what we had in 2018. You have to remember, guys, this is the first time that the Federal Reserve has raised rates while the S&P 500 is in a bear market. This has never happened before, right? So we can expect unnormal things to happen because it's never happened before. This is a unique market environment. And that's why I'm pretty confident in the fact that the Bitcoin bottom is in. Now, supporting this bearish argument, there is, of course, evidence, and I'm not discounting the evidence. The evidence is there. The Wyckoff accumulation pattern we're seeing on Bitcoin is the evidence, and obviously, as per the Wyckoff accumulation pattern, we are at the peak here. We should be going downwards from here and forming a new low sometime in that May region. That's what Wyckoff says. And so, if we start to see breakdowns like that, we start to see breakdowns below critical levels like 19.5K, like 19K, then we can start to take these arguments a little bit more seriously. But I rely on facts, I rely on data, I rely on trends. As an analyst, that's what you should do. I don't believe that as an analyst, there is enough evidence to completely discount the 4-year cycle theory at this point when we've seen nothing but the 4-year cycle theory be followed. Sorry for my green screen acting up back here. I'm not sure what's going on there with the lighting. But yeah, that's what I'm basically saying. At this point in time, with the evidence we have in the charts, with everything I have on the charts and using everything I can to my advantage, as an analyst, I don't see any reason to discount the 4-year cycle theory until we start seeing some validation. We start seeing breakdowns, as I said, we start seeing breakdowns below 19.5K, below 19K, then we can start to take this argument a little bit more seriously. And that's a completely logical move to take, in my opinion. When you're talking about a 12-year trend, such as the 4-year cycle theory, you need to see evidence before you start discounting it. At this point, we've only seen evidence for it being valid. So that's kind of that topic there. It is an interesting topic, though, and it is interesting that in the last cycle in 2018, 2019, and 2020, we did see such vicious reactions from Bitcoin based on what happened with interest rates. But at this point, I just don't see the evidence there to support that argument that it's going to happen again. So we'll keep an eye on it for sure. But yeah, at this point, no. Let's look into the monthly chart now, the second topic of this video. I did want to talk about the monthly chart for basically one very simple reason. On the monthly chart, we have 2 days, we have 48 hours exactly until the monthly candle closes, and we have very interesting support and resistance zones showing on the monthly chart. We have a strong support zone in the green at 19.3K, which we've labeled as a support based on monthly candle closes previously and also based on the 2017 top, and we have the red zone here at 23.4K, which is labeled as a monthly candle resistance based on what we saw in 2 separate candles here in 2022 and also in 1 candle last month. What I'm looking at for the next 48 hours is for Bitcoin. What we need to be looking at, I should say, is that if Bitcoin closes the monthly candle above 23.4K, we can expect Bitcoin in the month that follows to break above the 25.2K range that we're facing on the daily chart, which we recently topped out at. So again, let me say that one more time. If Bitcoin manages to break above the monthly candle resistance at 23.4K, we can expect Bitcoin to break above the 25.2K range and make a run for 28.6K because there is very, very little, right? There is very, very little historical resistance between 25 and 28. So if we do break 25, we would go straight to 28. And as I said, in order for that to happen, we would need to be seeing a monthly candle close above 23.4K, which is the nearest monthly resistance, which would give us their macro momentum to eventually make that move upwards. So the monthly candle is very important for that reason. Will we close above 23.4K or will we not? We'll find out in 48 hours, and that's the big question we're facing from a macro perspective. If we're diving into shorter term stuff, what I'm really looking at On my daily chart is this triangle formation on the RSI. What I'm really looking at as well is the 4-hourly chart, the fact that we've kind of found support on that yellow uptrending line stemming from the 24th of January. And ultimately, we've come up and we've tested a pink resistance line, as you can see here, that I've just circled. And right now, the most likely move is probably a rejection off of that and a move further down. But at this point, what is acting as resistance? Well, I can tell you right now, the thing that is acting as resistance directly is this pink uptrending line, but also around 23.8k to 24k is a pretty strong resistance zone as per that red box, and that's the area you need to be watching to the upside. There's not really much insight I can give you on the daily chart or the short-term charts other than the fact that we're at the top of a range, we're at resistance still, and so taking longs probably isn't the best idea yet. We probably do need to see a little bit more correction. It would be a very, very strong sign if Bitcoin can negate that short-term TA and close the monthly candle close above 23.4k. That would be excellent to see, and it is possible, right? Because the top of the range is actually at 25k. So in order to close above the macro range, which is 23.4k to 19.3k, we only need to get to the upper part of the range. We don't actually have to break out. So it'd be very bullish if we did see that. And it would indicate that we break above the range in the future. But yeah, as for short-term stuff right now, it's all very complicated, and it has been complicated for a long period of time. There's even speculation as to whether or not we're in this structure that I've got drawn here. We could delete everything on the screen, and we could actually just simplify it to this if we really wanted to. We could say, okay, there's a horizontal range, and potentially we're seeing some sort of uptrending support zone that will eventually lead into an ascending triangle. Maybe the support zone is something like that as well. The fact of the matter is, whatever you draw here, whatever lines you draw, and this is why it's so complicated to give you a direct answer about whether it's bullish or bearish, whatever lines you draw, they're all hypothetical, they're all speculative. In order for a line to be valid, you need to have 3 retests. Both of these lines I've drawn, which would usually be very strong lines, only have 2 retests. They're hypothetical lines, so you can't be confident in them, right? You can't trust them too much, and that's why I don't like the short-term price action right now. But ultimately, I think the rule of thumb is this. We're towards the top of the range. Taking longs is a risky game. You can if you want to. I wouldn't personally recommend it. And yeah, short term's just rough for Bitcoin, and that's why I'm sticking to altcoins right now. But ultimately, we've got a few macro things going on that are much more important than short term. And those things, as I said, are the monthly chart and watching what happens in regards to interest rates, with interest rates top coming in June, and the next rate hike coming in 22 days. So lots of stuff to look into, guys, in the future. Thank you for watching. Check out the BitGet exchange. We have an exclusive promotion for Australian users. You can find the full details of that promotion in the video before. So not yesterday, the day before's video. Started the video, I went over it. If you're interested in that from Australia, go ahead and do it. But this is a global exchange, so anyone can sign up. You get a 15% trading fee discount for life if you sign up using my referral link. So there's a benefit in doing that. It's also the best way to help the channel, and it's the best way to help yourself as well. It's got 5 times lower fees than Binance. It's an exchange that I personally use as a professional day trader for over a year now, and I personally like it. I think it's probably the best exchange on the market. Otherwise, I wouldn't be partnering with them. So go ahead and sign up to BitGet using my referral link for that exclusive discount. And then the Crypto Academy, of course. You guys probably know about the Crypto Academy by now. The screen is just loading here. We can see the Become a Trader 10-unit course. If you want to become a trader, you want to take your trading to the next level, you want to learn how to trade, learn how to analyze charts, this is the place to do it. So go ahead and check out the website here with all the details, and ultimately you can chuck us an email if you're interested down the bottom of the page here at cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you with all the relevant information and answer any questions you may have about the course. Finally, the VIP group, if you're interested in becoming a VIP member, getting altcoin trading signals sub-daily, 100 USD for 3 months. All of the members we've had in there have found it extremely useful. Everyone who's followed the signals has found it extremely useful. We've got our results released. You can check the results and fact check me on my claims in the comment section below, or the description below. Regardless of all of that, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.